Scholars, welcome to iOS Institute of Scholars YouTube channel. Today we'll be looking at statistics. This is a topic under statistics whereby we'll be examining the Laspeyres, Paasche, and Fisher's price index. Now, for you to examine this topic, the most important thing and the most important aspect of this topic is to know the formula and know how to evaluate the formula. Now, the first thing is, let's look at the table. This table is a typical example of solving this question. And either you're using it for your exam or for text or for assignment. The question is going to come in this form, and whereby this first column is going to be the product column that's going to be for rice, beans, groundnut, oil, and flour. Where the numbers of here that you're looking at the table is going to, this one starts for the base year and this one stands for the current year. Now the base year here, the P subscript 0 here means the base price and the Q subscript 0 means the base quantity, where your P1 means the current price of the product and the current quantity of the products that we have here. Now, for you to examine these questions, for the first thing we need to do is to state the formula for Laspeyres, and I'll represent my Laspeyres as letter L. And by doing so, then what will be the formula for Laspeyres? That is summation of P subscript 1, which is the current price, multiplied by Q subscript 0, which is the old quantity or base quantity in 2022. Then you divide it by the summation of base price multiplied by what? Base quantity. What do you mean by base price here? That is the price for the product in 2022, which is my PO, and the quantity that they produce in that year, which is in 2022, which is my base quantity. The analysis here is telling us that the quantity does not change since 2022 and 2024. That means they are producing 50 year, 50 year, 60 year, 60 year, 25 year, 25 year. But for flour, the quantity increase, whereby the quantity increase from 30, which is this is the old quantity that they produce, and this is now the new quantity. Now let's look at how we can evaluate this formula. Don't forget, we are dealing with price index. You will multiply this by 100 because we are dealing with price index. Please don't forget that. Be mindful of that. Now, the logic behind this formula to evaluate is that I think the problem is going to start from where do you want to start from? The first thing you do is assume brackets for the both numerator and denominator. Then apply the rule of Bodmer's. What do I mean by the rule of Bodmer's? Is by opening the Bodmer's. You know what the rule of Bodmer's says? That the first thing is you open the bracket. That means I need to evaluate what is inside this bracket. And what is inside the bracket is the current price multiplied by the old quantity. So here, I'll need to extend my table. And by doing so, this new column, let me use this. By extension of my table, the new column will be the new price multiplied by the old quantity because I want to examine and evaluate and analyze what is here. Then by doing this, this means I will need to multiply my current price with my base quantity. Then what do I mean? So here I'll be having 80 multiplied by what? 50. Here I'll be having 140 multiplied by 60. Here I'll be having 60 multiplied by 25. This and this. Then here I'll be having 74 multiplied by 30. So this place will be 74 multiplied by 30. Then the next thing. So after multiplying your current price with your base quantity, we have this value. Then once you have all this value, that means I've solved the problem inside the bracket. That's what this means. I've solved the problem inside the bracket. Now, the other issue we have beside the bracket is the summation. And the summation here, it implies that addition of all these columns, addition of all this value in this column means the summation. Therefore, what we are saying here is 4,000 plus 8,400 plus 15 plus 2,220. That is 2,220. So once you add everything together, you're having what? 16,100. So that's the essence of the summation here. So therefore, that means the value that we have as our numerator now is 16,100. Then divided by, then we need to solve the other one. That means there's going to be an extension in our column. So there's going to be an extension in our column again. So the extension in our column here, what we are looking at now, we want to open this bracket too, which indicate that the base price multiplied by the base quantity. Then what's my base price? Then what's my base quantity? They are here. So what you have to do is to multiply 26 times 50, will give us the value of what's going to be here. 28 times 60 will give us the value of what's going to be here. Then there, 25 times 25, we arrive at this. Then 38 and 30, this is the value of PO multiplied by QO. So after the multiplication of this, after the application of open this bracket, then you have this value. Then after having this value, this essence of the summation here, don't forget that. I said the essence of the summation here is adding from the value you get from the product of rice to the end of the product value here. Then the summation of this downward to this is what we mean by the summation of PO times Q. Then the value we have for the denominator for the Laspeyres formula is going to be 4,745. Here we go. Now you have to multiply this by 100. So after multiplying this by 100, then we apply this formula, denominator divided by this, then multiply by 100. So this is the value for the Laspeyres. Now the application is kind of simple. After getting the value of your numerator, like I said, this is this, and the value for your denominator is this. The value for this is this. Then you divide it and multiply by 100. If you try it with your calculator there, you are going to arrive at this answer for the Laspeyres. Then let's move on to the next one, which is Paasche price index. For the Paasche price index, I will represent the Paasche as P. And by representing Paasche as P, the formula for Paasche is what we are going to make emphasis on, which we are going to have the summation of current price multiplied by current quantity, all divided by summation of the current quantity multiplied by the base price, which is P subscript 0, then times 100. Now, having this is another formula. And by having this formula, we need to follow the same step of evaluating this formula. And I said, you assume a bracket to this formula, assume a bracket to this formula. Then the first step is applying the rule of Bodmer's by solving the problem or the issue that we have inside this formula. Then means we are going to have another extension of table, because we need to look for current price multiplied by what? Current quantity. Here we go. So we have the P1 multiplied by the Q1. We have another one here. So what are we going to have? So that means I need to multiply 80 times 50 to get the value, 140 times 60 to get that value, then 60 times 25 to get that value, then 74 times 50 to go to the answers for the current price multiplied by Q1. You have this value. And don't forget, the way we solve this, the application of the summation here means we want to add all these things together. And by add all these things together, we arrive at this. We arrive at 17,600, then divided by. Then we have to look for the formula of the denominator. And don't forget that the formula for the denominator, the idea behind it is we want to open this bracket. And the element inside the bracket is the current quantity multiplied by the base price. That is what is going to give us this. And by adding this, that means I need to multiply my Q1 here by what? By my PO. That's the application. The P1, you have to merge it together. Your Q1, you have to merge it together with your PO. Therefore, I'm having 26 multiplied by 50 will give me what is here. So I have 26 multiplied by 50. Let me state this here. So you have 26 multiplied by 50. Give us the value here. Then we have 28 multiplied by 60. So here will be 28 multiplied by 60 to get the value. Other one, I will get the value for the others. So by getting this value, now we have arrived at this. Continue getting this 625 indicate that we have our current quantity, which is 25 multiplied by our base price. And that's what results to 625. And 19 is 38 times 50. So therefore, I've gotten the answer for my denominator for Paasche. Don't forget that after having the multiplication of this, the summation of everything is what this is talking about. So that means I'm going to have 5,505. Then we multiply it by what? By 100. Then by division of this multiplied by this is going to give us our final answer for. So we have gotten our value, our final answer for Paasche. So far, we have gotten the answer for Laspeyres and we have gotten the answer for Laspeyres. Now we move to Fisher's price index, which is the most simplest aspect of this here. So the Fisher's will equals to the formula for Fisher's is, let's denote Fisher's as F, as usual. Let's denote our Fisher's as F. I want to manage this board so that I will not need to rub anything off. So this is the Fisher represented as F, and the formula for Fisher is the square root of Laspeyres multiplied by the value gotten from Paasche. And this will make it simple for us. So that means I'm going to look for the square root of what is the value for Laspeyres. The value for Laspeyres is 339.3. Then multiply it by the value gotten for Paasche, which is what? 319.7. So we need to arrive at the final answer. So this is the value for the multiplication, which we square root here. Then the square root of the answers we got here is going to give us 329.4, where the final answer for Fisher's equation is 329.4. Now, to solve this question, you just need to follow the typical step of what we have done. This is the most simplest question ever in statistics. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.